And on Tuesday, Hollywood star Russell Crowe will be here talking about music ahead of his new tour. You do not want to miss it.
Awesome. And our next guest tonight knows all about the power of music when it comes to space travel. Please welcome Rocket Man Tim Peake.
Yeah!
Tim, the reason I want to bring up music and space travel as well is because you've had guitars and saxophones on the International Space Station, isn't that right?
Yeah, there's an electric keyboard up there. So over the years, I mean, the space station's been there for more than 20 years now. So if the odd astronaut has taken up a musical instrument, we leave them up there. So on a Sunday afternoon, if you get an hour to yourself, you can just go and play an instrument.
Let's have a chat with Radio 1, get you on the live line. Now, it's been a big old week for space. I mean, on Monday's show, we had the solar eclipse. And today just so happens to mark 63 years since the first person went to space. It's someone who inspired you quite a lot, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it was one of those groundbreaking moments in human history, actually leaving the planet and to look back on the cradle of life, planet Earth. So for Yuri Gagarin, 1961, it was a monumental achievement. I
love that you brought Yuri's book on the space station as well. I mean, was that just an added thing? Was that almost like an homage to him?
Well, I spoke to Helen Sharman, and before my flight, she flew on the Soyuz rocket like myself, and so she was giving me some great advice. And I said, is there anything that you'd like me to take of yours to space? And she gave me this book, which was Yuri Gagarin's Road to the Stars, and said, this flew to me with me to the Mir space station, so please take it to the ISS, get it stamped and signed by the crew. And we reckon that's the best travelled world, or book in the world rather, probably the universe. Because I don't know of any other book that's been to 2 space stations before.
So. That's a flex.
It is so, honestly, Tim's stories are always so cool. But look, you're here to talk about the new tour. You've got chats about groundbreaking missions that you've been a part of or known about. But there's one bit that we want to speak about, which is the untethered spacewalk that happened back in 1984. You mentioned this on your tour, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell loads of different stories about the whole of human spaceflight through all the years, but for me, Bruce McCandless doing an untethered spaceflight back in 1984 out the back of the Challenger shuttle. From a test pilot point of view, I mean, he must have had nerves of steel, because when we do a spacewalk, we're trying not to fall off, not to become lost in space and detached. So to actually go out into space with just a jetpack and no tethers, I mean, it takes amazing bravery.
Is it like James Bond style jetpack, as in like you've got it's attached to the back and you're just pressing buttons and it's firing off?
Completely.
And it's just your body weight essentially like guiding you through.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, on the early space flights, Ed White, the first American to do a spacewalk, on those early spacewalks, they had a little handheld zip gun, they called it, which they would kind of squeeze and it would just squirt out gas, and that would propel them around like a mini jetpack.
My goodness. Now, Tim, you first went to space in 2015. Could you be going back anytime soon?
Well, I had an interesting phone call from Axiom Space, an American company, last summer, and they're looking to put together an all-UK mission to the International Space Station, which is really exciting. So I'm working with them and the UK Space Agency, and we're putting together commercial sponsorship at the moment, because this is going to be at no cost to the taxpayer, a fully commercially sponsored mission, and it's going to be brilliant for UK science and tech and education outreach, and for individuals who get to fly. So I hope so.
Wow, that would be unbelievable. Now we have to talk about it. Man returning to the moon, people going back there. Now, how soon can we see this happen? Tim, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
Yeah, well, 4 of my friends are in training right now at NASA on what we're calling Artemis 2 mission. The Artemis 1 mission was uncrewed. That was a great success. Artemis 2 is scheduled for September next year. And that's not going to land on the moon. That's going to go around the moon, a bit like Apollo 8 did. But it's going to test out the new spacecraft, all the orbits, all the equipment. So Artemis 3, the year after that. So we're looking at 2025 for, 2026, sorry, for Artemis 3.
Give yourself a little bit more time, Tim.
For 2026 for Artemis 3, boots back on the moon again.
Amazing.
We look forward to cheering you on from down here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And tickets are available now for Tim's new tour, Astronauts, The Quest to Explore Space.